All right. Hey, everybody. Hello, hello. It's Monday night and it's Team Up Zoom. I hope you guys had a fun weekend. Show of hands. How many of you participated in Super Bowl festivities? Wasn't that? I had so much fun. I had so much fun. And I promise you, I'm not going to sing any Usher songs tonight. Okay. All right. So I am so excited about this evening, but I'm going to do a little housekeeping first before we get into gut health sourdough. Um, let's just talk for a second about the program from last week, Age Backwards. It was an absolute success. I think we had about 35 partners that participated and invited. We had over 20 guests, which is so spectacular. And I know that business has been, it activated new orders and AROs and new affiliates. And here's the thing, I did not convert it into a YouTube. It's too soon. I'm still working on it. If you would like to see it, Kathy and I can send you a link where you can watch it in the Zoom room. Okay, it takes you right back into the Zoom account. You don't need a password. You just click and it's right there in front of you. And you can share that with people. But I'm not ready for a full-fledged out in the universe YouTube. But because there has been so much excitement about it, we're going to redo it again at the end of the month on Monday night, the 26th. Okay. So mark your calendars and we can start building for that because it really is generating some excitement. All right, so tonight's excitement is about gut health, sourdough workshops, and how they are really exploding business. They're making a difference. People are getting on product because of the sourdough events. But I'm going to start tonight with a message from Bob Hewitt. Kathy, if you want to pull that up. Back in December, guys, Bob Hewitt, he's the Wham guy, the mastermind guy. He's a network marketing guru. And I was on one of his podcasts, and this goes back to the middle of December. He said there are 4 reasons parties need to be a part of your 2024 business plan. Guys, this is so powerful because if you go back to right before COVID, people were saying, affiliates across the board were saying, not doing parties. I'm not a Tupperware representative. I'm not this kind of representative. I'm not going to have parties. So everybody moved away from the party scene. And now we're hearing Jason Dorsey, right, who spoke at Level Up, and he's going to be in Indy. And what is he saying? It's parties, parties, parties. What's going on? Why the flip? Well, we're going to pretend this is old David Letterman, and I'm going to give you the top 4 reasons, but we're going to start backwards just like David Letterman did. Reason number 4, why you need. Oops. Yeah, 3. We're going back to 4. 4. Thank you, Kathy. Community and connection. And this is exactly why they're saying people today are starving for human connection. Events are a way to bring people together in a fun, meaningful way. Mark your calendar because next week, I'm going to have someone come in and talk about what's going on in the world and why connection is so important. But fun and in a meaningful way, and gut health and sourdough is meaningful. Go ahead, Kathy. Reason number 3. We go. Yes, we're good at this. Better conversion. Pay attention to this. 74% of people surveyed said they are more likely to buy a product when attending a virtual or an in-person event. 74%. I mean, sometimes we have to touch somebody 4, 5, 6, and 7 times with our message before they, start to ruminate and say yes. 74% saying yes when they attend an event. All right, reason number 2, Kathy, ready? Yes, increased activity. Parties drive the activity of a new consultant. They will engage with 10 times more people and get faster results that way. So these new affiliates that are coming in and they're hosting a sourdough gut health event, or maybe we're doing something virtual and it's a friends and family call, they're going to have much better engagement faster. Drum roll, reason number one, community. I got whiplash. Lead generation. Everyone that joins the group or attends the event is a highly qualified lead for your business. And let me tell you, the girls that are speaking tonight are all seeing this. So tonight, we are celebrating. Thank you, Kathy. You can take that down. We are celebrating and we're learning from 3 women who are masterful at sourdough events. Together, the 3 of them generated about, I don't know if it was 42 or 44 new AROs in January, the 3 of them. And I'm talking about Abby Nowlin out of Tennessee, Shannon Craig out of Lubbock, Texas, and my buddy Judy Strickler out of Fredericksburg. And you can see, guys, in all different seasons of their lives, but yet experiencing great success. So we're going to start this off. Oh, let me tell you. So I went to my first gut health sourdough workshop last week. All right. You know, I've been talking about them and promoting them, but I went to my first one. It was hosted by Kelly Ballard and Jen Grubb, and it was masterful. It was absolutely masterful. And I saw what happens in that group. They had 16, I think, maybe 12 women attend. They didn't even know one of these people. Okay, and we'll talk about how we're generating that kind of energy. What I saw that every single person that attended checked off on the chart that they wanted to know more about Juice Plus. It was absolutely phenomenal to watch. So we're going to kick this off with Abby, because Abby, I want you to come here. Congratulations on your success. I want to lead in with this, Abby. I think one of the reasons why so many of the partners are a little hesitant to do a sourdough gut health workshop is because they're afraid they're not gut health experts. Can you put that fear to bed?
Yes. So I'm excited, guys, for tonight, and I hope that you leave inspired to do your own sourdough event if you haven't done it yet, or you just are reminded to continue with the consistency, because that is a huge, huge thing. So I think the most important thing to take away tonight is that you do not need to be the expert in gut health. I'm going to share my screen with you and show you in boards in the sourdough page where you can access all of the information on the outline. But literally, y'all, these papers I printed them for my very first workshop last April. I put them in page protectors, and this is what I work through and what I talk off of as I speak at an event. And so Michaela Peterson, who created these amazing boards, reminded me, she's like, listen, if you stand in front of a group of people and you just spit off a bunch of information, that is not duplicatable. Everybody's going to look at you and go, I know nothing about gut health. No way in heck could I stand in front of a group of people and do that. But if you read from your notes and people see that you're reading from your notes, it's very easy to be like, oh, she's just standing in front of people and reading off her notes. And so anyway, so I'm going to read through with you here a couple of things, but the Love Your Guts facilitator talking points. So everything in the sourdough boards page is broken up into facilitator info, attendee info. It breaks it all down. It's so helpful. And so yes, it can be a little bit overwhelming at first, but as you get through it, you'll find your own rhythm and it just becomes natural. And I have this notes on my phone, and before every workshop, I just go through the checklist of what I know I need to have. So at least 70% of our immune system originates in our gut. And then she has some talking points on here that you can add in. Our immune system is our lifeline and something we have control over. 90% of our serotonin is made in our guts. 10% is in our brain. This is where I personally weave my Juice Plus story in. And I tell people, I say, before I even kick off the event, I say, I'm going to share more with you about Juice Plus and weave my story in. And I dive in right here because my journey with anxiety, depression, and my gut all weaves in perfectly. Then I go back, once I finish my story, I go back to the facts. 80% of the food we buy today didn't exist 100 years ago. So I'm going to share my screen with you and show you. Kathy and Terry, can we see this? Okay. Okay. So y'all look, I mean, she literally breaks down like introducing yourself, the layout for the workshop. And let me show you here. Hold on. Let me minimize this. There we go. Okay. So in boards, let me show you. So under the sourdough page, this is everything that you need. You've got invite options, workshop and facilitator info. This is what you want. Sourdough instructions. This is what I print. The did you know, I also have that printed and I walk through that with everybody. Basically, this is just like, I'll show you this really quick. Eating cabbage more than once a week. I don't read through every single line, but everybody walks home with this in a page protected sheet. So they see that, you know, the power of Juice Plus. They see what's in Juice Plus. They're walking away with something tangible. Yes. So that kind of gives you a little insight and know, you know, this outline is here, but don't feel like you have to be married to that. Figure out what feels good for you and how to weave your story in. And that's how it's going to become unique to you. You know, Terry or Judy, Shannon, myself, everybody that's doing sourdough workshops has a little bit of their own spin, and you'll find more of that the more that you do it. Okay, Terry, were there any other?
Yeah, just Abby, you know, you're having great success, right? I'm seeing, you know, 10 orders almost every month. But you didn't start out with the home run, did you?
No.
How did you start out? I mean, it's where you are now, great accolades, but how did you start out?
So when I got here, and I was talking to Terry about this tonight, actually, I got here 2 years ago in April, and I didn't know anybody. And I started my workshops a year later. So I've been doing workshops for almost a year, and I committed to them every single month. And they've picked up now that my husband's home and can help me with Bo. But I have built community over time. Once you become a community influencer and someone that hosts events that are valuable and give life into the community, you build credibility. And then when people like Terry Luongo, Judy Strickler, whoever comes to speak in your area and you invite people to that kind of event, you have credibility and people trust you. And so the power and the importance of the consistency with this is huge. I mean, the people that I've had coming, so the people that ordered when Terry came had all been people that had attended my sourdough workshops, and 3 or 4 of the people that ordered hadn't been the right time, and Terry sealed the deal. So it's the power and importance of consistency and showing up and building credibility.
There you go. All right. I think you have someone that you want to introduce.
I do. I'm very excited to introduce to you Shannon Craig, who's in Lubbock, Texas. Shannon and I have known each other for a couple of years, really through the internet. One of my team gifts, I actually order bracelets through her when my girls hit sales coordinator. And so anyway, we connected. She got started on Juice Plus in late summer, signed up to become an affiliate in the fall, and has absolutely taken off. She hit sales coordinator in 94 days and is just doing amazing things with sourdough and sharing our message in the Lubbock area. So Shannon, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Okay, I'd love you to share with everybody really quick before we kind of dive into the sourdough portion. Why did you say yes to Juice Plus? Share a little bit about your story and journey, if you will.
Sure. Yeah, I found myself this summer not really recognizing my health. I had gone down a steep slope of losing energy and a multitude of symptoms, and through many doctors and lots of appointments, was told it looked like I had many autoimmunes on the rise, and they, you know, I was pretty much prescribed medication and had a follow-up for 6 weeks later. And I just, at my age and just my point in life, I thought, I don't want to start medicine. Like, this can't be my fate. And so I started, you know, looking for ways that I could maybe avoid medication. I just happened to see something that Abby had posted that day, and it literally just was like, click. This is the route I want to go. I want to try this organic route. It makes sense. I believe God gave us these, you know, all the tools we need. So anyway, that's how I got started. I guess about 6 weeks into it, had such improvements that I wanted to get my husband started. And so that is why I chose to sign up as an affiliate. And it was just, you know, one friend, one family member at a time from there. So that's really where
I love it.
Yeah. And as far as sourdough goes, it is actually absolutely symbiotic to me with Juice Plus and sourdough. It really has been a trifecta for me. So I get to speak with, you know, started with the small groups of friends, but now I talk to much larger people, and a lot of them I don't know. And so I feel like I get to share gut health and a functional food, Juice Plus, and a little bit of Jesus. So when I get to do them all together, it is just so special, and they all work perfectly together.
I love that. Okay, so talk to me a little bit about, you started with small groups and friends. How have you branched out to larger groups of people? What does that look like? Or have you met people, you know, have you gotten into churches? You know, what, talk to me a little bit more about what that looks like.
All of it has been happy accidents. You know, it definitely started, I did many in my home with, you know, 5 women, 6 women. And I just think there's just such a hunger right now for functional living that I didn't have to go seeking out. I had, you know, was really just so blessed that stores started contacting me and said, how can we get you to come teach these sourdough workshops? I mean, boutiques, clothing stores, like, and it just kind of took off from there. Now I'm getting church groups and supper clubs, and, you know, I'll any kind of club I can think of. I even do, there, lots of men come to them. Like, it is people from all walks of life, and so many different ways. So I would definitely encourage you to start small. And when you see the success with that, you could even potentially reach out to, you know, church groups or, you know, organizations that might be interested in housing a holistic, fun event.
Yes, that's what I was just going to say. My encouragement to you guys is, you know, if you're starting small and you feel like, okay, how can I expand my network? Because I feel like that's constantly what we're doing. Okay, how can we expand our reach? How can we expand our reach? What are some places in your local area that would be open to a food first holistic approach event where you can come and, you know, bring the fun? So I love that. Terry, do you have anything to add there?
Yeah, just, you know, Shannon, because you've expanded so quickly, when, like, you know, how do you approach a church or a supper club? What is your, you know, because I want to boil this down. What is your approach when you say, okay, I want to present in this church? What are you doing?
Well, are you asking about how the workshop is, or how I haven't.
How are you networking? How are
Okay.
you networking into these?
Honestly, it's, for me, like I said, I've just been so blessed. It's been word of mouth. They're seeking me at this point because I made that name for myself. And I really I just had this happenstance of being in this boutique that it just took off, and people just wanted a piece of it. I do, you know, probably weekly say, hey, I've got these sourdough workshops coming up socially. I'll post that. Maybe tag a few of the stores that we're doing it in. And then it just has caught on in a very organic matter. But I totally think that there is a way where you can promote yourself. You can just post it. Say, hey, I'm hosting this in my house. And then once you, I mean, you definitely need to have some practice under your belt before you go to a church and say, I'm ready to teach you a class, right? I mean, so start small, start with your friends and family where you feel comfortable. And like I said, now typically every Saturday, I'm typically meeting 50 or 60 strangers, and it's still a little nerve-wracking to walk into all these eyeballs look at you for information. So I just have to start small. I use the form that Abby sent me originally. I've done sourdough for a long time, but I didn't connect the two in the symbiotic way that they are in my life now. And they just make sense. And I think why they're so successful in the follow-ups with Juice Plus is because you've already got a group of people that we know they're interested in, you know, bringing their family something healthier home, right? And just getting a little bit more back to basics. They're likely interested in their gut health. And they just go hand in hand. They're both tools that people can use together. And so you got the perfect clientele, and your people are in the room.
Mhm.
Wow.
I love that. Okay, so last question, this kind of beautifully follows in, Shannon. What does your follow-up look like with the people that attend and, on the sign-up sheet say, hey, I'd love to learn more?
Yeah, as Abby says, I kind of weave my story in bits and pieces through there. I try not to overwhelm people with that side of things because I know that they're there to learn how to make bread. And so I definitely have the focus on that. Sharing my story at the beginning, and I say, hey, I've got a sign up sheet. I brought you a sample and a goodie bag. Please grab that on your way out. Sign up if you would like more information. I would love to reach out. I typically find that in a class of 24, usually 18 to 20 will write their name down. So, the next day I get to reach out. And it's just such a special thing. It really is.
I love that. Okay, so one of the things I'll share that actually Shannon and I were talking about a couple weeks ago, in really closing the deals with people that say, okay, I want to learn more. The big thing that I do, Shannon does, and I'm sure Judy would say the same thing, is asking people what their needs are first before sharing the information, because when you know what their need is, then you can send the right tools. So we ask what that need is, or what the, struggle is, what they're looking to improve. And then once we know that, we'll go and find a specific resource, and then we'll send the Bridging the Gap video, that 3-minute one that we love, and the power of produce images that breaks down what's in each blend and the benefits. So yeah, that's kind of been our formula, and that's how I've been coaching, Sarah Winstead, Sarah Thomas, Shannon, everybody, to do that. So that's kind of what our process looked like. So thank you so much, Shannon, for sharing. Congratulations, girl. I'm so happy for you. And okay, Judy, Terry, do you have anything else before I turn it over to Judy?
No, I want to just say, Judy, Judy, Judy. All right, you guys need to know that Judy Strickler is not new at hosting events. If you went back in time, 30 years ago, Judy and I were together saying, we need to start bringing people together in groups. We need to have something that we can hand them when they come here. And Judy Strickler was the creative force behind so many kitchen table trainings, living rooms. We created images that became part, we would put them into binders. We would pass the binders around the room. So she is like the mothership of hosting events. And so now, Judy, 30 years later, you're back at it. Not that you ever disappeared, but you're back at sourdough. You want to talk about symbiotic? This woman is a gut health expert. Judy, you've been knocking it out of the park for about 6 months with sourdough. Congratulations. And what would you like to add to what Abby and Shannon have already said?
I just first of all want to thank Abby, because without her I wouldn't be doing this, because it was like when I started I was like, okay, Abby, now what do I say? Okay, now what do I do? Now what I do? I call her back. Okay, Abby, what about this? Because she's the tech person and I'm just the doer, right? But Abby, thank you so much for your help. I really appreciate it. And I love what Shannon had to say too, because I'm the same way. I want to share Juice Plus and Jesus at the same time with whatever I do. And so when I started doing the sourdough parties, I was like, I was back home again, because I love doing parties. I have more fun than anybody doing a party. And so I'll just add a few things that I do for my parties. Well, like when I start, first I'll go back, how do I get into parties? I only knew the church as my family. So when we moved here, we were new too. So at the church, that's where they were my guinea pigs. So I did a lot of parties at the church, and finally I started doing them back at my house because my tower garden's there. And I started posting them on Kerrville bulletin board, public. And I was like, oh, who's coming to my house? Okay, I know, don't be afraid. These strangers are all coming in. And it was wonderful because I'd see them later on and go, that's the Juice Plus lady. They said, that's the Juice Plus lady. Do you want to learn how to do this? And so it just, like you said, it just kind of took off all on its own. But I've done it at doctor's offices. We went to a winery on Sunday and we were just sitting there. They were having a tasting room and that we knew the owner of the winery. And I just said to her, hey, we were in this beautiful house with a kitchen and stove and everything. I said, hey, how would you like to do sourdough parties here at the winery? She goes, "Oh, yes." Now, I'm telling you that because I would never say, hey, are you eating your fruits and vegetables? I wouldn't say that, but it was so easy to say, hey, would you like to do sourdough parties? And she said, yeah, she said, I want to do one every month, maybe two every month. I'm going to start with employees, then the club members, and then I'm going to invite the public. And I'm like, oh my gosh, see, that's how easy it is. You just have to say, do you like sourdough? Would you like to learn how to make it? That is my line for many people. Do you like sourdough? Would you like to learn how to make it? So, one of the things that I do is this little card. We have placemats. So at the conference, my husband said, go buy 10 of these. So these sit on the table when they come, then this way, then they put their bowl on this. So as they set their bowl on this and the table, as we're starting to talk, I was like, don't forget to look what's under your bowl because I eat all that food every day. And they're like, what? And so that starts their mind on what Juice Plus is. And so when it starts, I always talk about, show that 4-minute video of pure hope. And then I tell them a little bit about why I can do this because of Juice Plus, and this affords me to give money to Pure Hope. And I got these shirts made, and if you want one, you can have these shirts. My niece made these shirts for me, and so it just tells who we are and what we do and why we do it. And so then right away, I go make the bread. Right immediately, I go right into the workshop and show them how to make that loaf of bread. Because then while it's sitting, because I want to tug and tuck before they leave, while it's sitting, I go into my Juice Plus story. And I pick up that paper that Abby showed you, did you know? And I have them each read one of those lines and say, just imagine this is just part of what's in Juice Plus. And then I share 2 studies with them real quick. I said, you know what polyphenols are? They're just phytonutrients that are in all the fruits and vegetables, and they're good for cardiac health. They're good for oxidative stress. They're good for gut health. And do you know they did study when people took only 3 Juice Plus gummies, 1 fruit, 1 vegetable, 1 berry, that in 1 to 2 hours, they already saw some of the polyphenols that were in Juice Plus in the blood. And 5 to 10 hours later, they saw more of the polyphenols that were in Juice Plus, plus other ones that were not even in there. So they knew that because it's functional food, that the body was able to make more polyphenols, and that was going to help the gut health. So everything I talk about goes back to the gut health. That's what they're there for, the sourdough. And so I also share about the gene expression. Do you know when people started taking Juice Plus that in 8 weeks, 1,600 genes changed to the positive? 1,608 weeks. I've been taking this for 27 years. My genes are so good. And we just laugh about it. You know, it's not what your genes load the gun, but your lifestyle pulls the trigger. So if you're looking at your GEANS, it's what you put in here that affects that, not the genes you got from your grandparents. So we laugh and we talk about that for a little bit. But then I mean, I have them ask questions if they want to. But the other thing that I really want them to understand is that because of Juice Plus, because of this community and the things I've learned in this community, and the sourdough is part of that. We also talk about fermentation. You know, we might have the garlic and honey and show them how to make that ferment. And that's like very good cough syrup. That's good like medicine if you start feeling bad. And it's very simple to do. I can show them that in about a minute. We might talk about sauerkraut. Just grind it up, put salt in it, smush it down, get it in a jar. So we want to talk about fermented food. Just like sourdough bread is probably with artificial flavoring in the store, so is yogurt. Most of the yogurt isn't fermented. Make your own. So we go into helping them learn, like I call myself a homesteader, learn how to do everything at home that you need, just like your grandma used to do, because we got to bring some of that stuff back. It's like Abby said, I think it was, that people want to know that. They want to know how they can be self-sufficient, how they can, you know, take care of themselves. So some of the things I talk to them about is the different grains you can use. You can use 7-grain, whole wheat, all-purpose, bread flour. If you use einkorn, you have to, that's a little different because it's wetter, so you don't handle it as much. That's a whole different thing, but it can be used. It has hardly no gluten because it's a very ancient grain. One of the other things is that bread is not the only thing. Bread's not the only thing that you can do with sourdough. And so I'm thinking about starting to have advanced sourdough classes where I'm going to teach them, because I have made bagels, I've made crackers, I made waffles, pizzas, English muffins. Last week I made pasta. You can make your sourdough croutons. All that stuff is sourdough. All that stuff is much better for you than what you can buy in the store. And then you can add things, right? Lots of inclusions you can add. So when do you add that? That is always the question everybody says. How am I going to get this into all of the bread instead of just on the top level or on this side or whatever? Well, when you're adding in those 4 cups of flour, I add my inclusions before that last cup of flour. So I add the 3 cups of flour, the salt, everything, make up the dough. And that's when I add, if it's lemon, blueberry, I've made cheddar, jalapeno, raspberry, raisin, cinnamon, cranberry, walnut, roast garlic and olive oil, and put that in there. Oh my gosh, everything but bagel. But the thing, if you use raisins or cranberries, you have to soak them in warm water for at least 30 minutes or an hour. Otherwise, they'll soak the moisture out of the bread. And so your bread will be drier if you don't do that. Let me think. The other thing is that what do I give them? I give them a scraper and a spoon and a towel. And then I'm like Shannon. I have a little Ziploc bag with this little flyer in it, and then some gummies in it, and a Bible passage in it. And so before they leave, they can do that. Also, I don't let them sign in when they come. They sign that sheet when they leave so they can mark, right, girls? So they can mark if they're interested in a Tower Garden or the Juice Plus or hosting a class, because a lot of people want to do that now. I'm just trying to see what else I don't want to forget that I told you.
Hey, Judy, I know that you do something interesting with the complete packets. Yes, that's pretty brilliant. Go ahead. What are you doing with those?
So I have the individual complete packets. I just have the chocolate and the vanilla, and I have it sitting in there, and I give them a taste. We have a shake. They can taste. They don't have a whole shake. They each get the little shake. Remember in the old days, guys, when we did a little Dixie cup and we got them a little shake every party? Well, they can taste that. And then I have them sitting there, and I say, there's a special today just for you guys, $2 a packet. If you'd like to take one of each home, or if you take more than that, that's fine too. So that's getting into another thing. Then the Tower Garden is there. And so we can also share with them that the herbs can grow right on your Tower Garden. You can dehydrate them or put them in fresh. It doesn't even matter. But put them in with your inclusions. So that's pretty much how I do my parties. I think that's everything. But I would like to add one thing that I have learned. And I'm so excited. I can't even stand it. So, well, the last thing I will say to them before they go, I know you won't make sourdough every day. I know you probably won't even eat sourdough every day. And you may go weeks or months before you make another loaf of bread. But remember about functional food, Juice Plus is something you can do every day. And you don't have to think about it. You don't have to start it. You don't have to prepare it. Go around your whole day thinking, oh my gosh, I can't do anything. I have to tug and tuck. I can't go there. I have to tug and tuck. No, it's not that way with Juice Plus because it's already done. And it's wonderful whole food. Okay, here's the last thing. I'm going to insert something here. So how many of you have made sourdough and you find out, I bought so much flour. I got like what, five-gallon buckets full of different kinds of flour. And you're putting all this in there, and then it runs over on the counter, and you got 10 jars of sourdough starter. And what am I going to do with all this sourdough? So I was listening to a lady from Gable House on YouTube the other day, about a month ago, and I tried what she did. Now, this is really stepping out of the box. I'm going to go back and say, teach them the way Abby told you. They need to learn how to make sourdough like we've just told you. But if they don't want to make sourdough that often, check this out. So this is a jar. It's about 2 cups. In the bottom, I put a little bit of sourdough, maybe not even 1/4 of a cup, maybe 2 tablespoons of mother. Then I put about a half a cup of flour, stirred it up. I mean, it's hard. You can't even stir it. It's so thick and hard. Then I put another cup or more of flour just on top of it. Just flour, stick it in the fridge. Leave it there for as long as you want to, till you want to make another. Maybe you're going to make in a month or so. When you want to make bread the night before, you take it out and you just turn the faucet on, good water, of course, and you put water in here till you can stir it up, and it's kind of soupy, but it's real lumpy. Just put it there, leave the lid off, leave it set outside, out on the counter. When you wake up in the morning, that is runny, bubbly mother. It is crazy. It is ready to go. So I pour a cup of this off and go make my bread with the 4 cups flour, 2 cups water, 1 tablespoon of salt, and it does perfect, just like the other way. So this is a shortcut. If you don't want to feed your mother every day, if you don't want to have 10 jars of sourdough starter and discard and all that stuff, this is an easy shortcut way. I just had to share that with you because that is, we spend so much money on flour otherwise, you guys, it's crazy.
Wow. Okay. Did that not blow your hair back? How many of you are hungry right now? I'm like so hungry. Thank you. All right, a couple things. Number one, I think $25 it's a giveaway. I would love to see everybody under the Team Up umbrella up their rates $30 at least, because you're investing, and that's a big thing. I don't want this to cost you anything, because what I know is that after the event, I guarantee you that Abby, Shannon, and Judy, I know Amy has done some. When I think of Pamelia Parker and everybody that's been doing them, I know that people are, excuse me, can I talk to you? Can I find you? People are coming to you. So you're giving them more of your time and more of your time. And yes, it's translating into Juice Plus business. But I'm going to tell you, somebody that wants to come to a sourdough event with this kind of caliber would not hesitate to pay $30. That extra $5 is not going to deter anyone. Food for thought. Take that to the bank. Next week, oh my gosh, we're going to work. Okay, because right now it's $10 for new affiliates to join. Okay, we've got a lot of momentum going on in every single one of our businesses. So next week, come together. We're going to work. It's going to be a working call. And Jeanette Ratuba from St. Louis is going to share a little bit about social capital. She's going to lead off with that. Why what we are doing right now in the Juice Plus world is so significant and important. Okay, guys, look at that. 8:10. I love you guys. Peace and blessings. Know if you have any questions, any concerns, we are here to support you and answer them. See you next week.